The time is 18 minutes to 9. Companies which have both men and women on their boards produce better returns for their shareholders than those where the board is entirely male. At least that's according to new research by the accountants Grant Thornton. They looked at the financial performance of 1,000 companies in the UK, the US and India. And Francesca Lagerberg from the company joins me now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How were you able to establish this?
What we did was we looked at the listed companies in three of our largest economies, so US, UK and India, and we compared the return on investment, the return on assets that you get in those individual companies, just to see were they outperforming the market or performing better if they had gender diverse boards. And the reality was actually quite startling, because if you add together all the success rates of those particular organisations, it amounts to a staggering US dollar amount of $655 billion additional amounts of money that you'd get if you had a diverse board.
Sorry, so that 655 billion, explain how you get to that term?
Yeah, what we did was we took the results for these three different economies, so US, UK and India, and we added up what they would be getting if they were performing as a gender diverse board, using lots of statistics that show that if you've got more diversity of opinion at the board level, you tend to outperform the market.
So, because your argument is what, or your presumption is that if you have women on boards, what are they doing differently?
I think the difference really is about diversity of opinion. About the research suggests that there's a very strong positive correlation between a board that's got a diversity of view, a diversity of opinion being expressed, to those that are singular in the way that they work. And we use gender diversification, but the same logic would work for any other form of diversification.
Right. Professor Alison Wolfe from King's College London, among others, have looked at this, and she said that whilst there's a lot of talk about having more women on boards, it's had no positive impact on companies' profits, that actually it's nonsense to suggest it has makes any difference.
Well, that's looking at profits and revenue. We actually use return on investment because you can be more accurate in terms of the transparency of data to see the success rates. As ever, this is all about correlation. It's not necessarily about cause, but there's plenty of research backed up by organisations like the Kellogg organisation and lots of other institutes showing that diversity of opinion at that senior level tends to mean the organisation is far more successful over a period of time.
So what is your argument, that there's a self-interest on the part of companies to have diverse boards?
Yes, a huge self-interest, and also for investors, they would want to have the best possible board that's most successful, that's got the best chance of making decisions that are going to make them more profitable overall. So it's in everybody's interest to look at that diversity issue and to take action.
Mm-hmm. You're not in favour of quotas, though?
Personally, I struggle with quotas. I like to think people should get where they get because they deserve to be there. But there is a lot of evidence to suggest that you need a bit of a tipping point, that you need to nudge people. And many, many governments are going the way of quotas. And actually, only time is going to tell us whether that really drives success. But what's been quite disappointing over the last few years is the very small number of increases that we've seen in women in senior positions. So maybe some action is required to make that happen. But I'd like to hope the commercial argument is the strongest argument of all.
Francesca Lagerberg, thanks very much.